to join us and take us away for a wonderful evening. Michelle.
Thank you, Brother Eric. I'm ready to fly with everyone. We're going to have a wonderful evening. I could just feel it. It's April. Happy April 1st, everyone. Spring is upon us, and I could feel the warmth of everyone together, and the beautiful spring flowers are coming up, and we're going to share it. And tonight is a very special evening. It's Living Peacefully, the month of April, living peacefully and happily with yourself. And if you can't live with yourself, then it's going to be tough to manage to be with others. So this is a very important discussion. And tonight, it's making your mind your best friend. Because again, that mind is with you 24/7. You might as well make it your best friend. So it's one of the most important relationships we have is with our mind. And it could be your best friend or it could be your worst enemy. So how do we bring that calmness into our everyday life? By calming the mind. Tonight, we're going to have a conversation about that. And I'm very honored to welcome Sister Parul Patel, who started her study with the Brahma Kumaris as a young child with her parents. She has been with Harmony House for over 15 years, until 2 years ago. We said goodbye a little bit. She went over the river and through the woods to Cinnamon Sin, New Jersey, but we welcome her back now. She has dedicated herself full-time to the study of Raja Yoga and teaches many classes, including Introduction to Meditation, and I was one of her students, and I don't even know how long ago it was. It wasn't that long ago. I was still a toddler, but it was almost 4 years already. I think it's almost 4 years, and it was wonderful. She was a fabulous instructor, so we're very glad to welcome you back. And one other special treat is that Sister Parul is a wonderful storyteller. So we're in for a sweet and joyful evening discussion. And I do want to say, I want everyone to pay attention, but we're going to have recorded sessions. These are going to be recorded now and accessible on the Global Harmony House YouTube channel and Facebook. So you want a repeat performance, which I think I know I will after tonight.
Oh, that's
go
a surprise
visit
to me to hear it.
YouTube channel and Facebook. So welcome, sister. Always a delight to see you, and take us away.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Michelle. Very honored, very happy to be here with you and everyone else. Well, you already said I was to share some stories, so now I have to think of some stories, I guess, for this evening.
And on the spot.
Well, let's see. Something will come across. So we are all here to. The only thing is it's a one-way communication because I'm not able to see anyone, but hopefully I will be able to hear some voices towards probably after half an hour, 40 minutes. Is that what I understand? Right, Michelle?
Yes,
Yeah.
And thank you for reminding me. If anyone has any comments or questions, to please put it in the chat and we will share it with Sister Parul. So please put that in. And yes, there will be an opportunity for you to converse and answer questions.
Okay. So good evening and Om Shanti, everyone, and welcome for this evening. Very happy to be with all of you, as I just said, and we are here to discuss, to learn how to develop that friendship with our own mind as our best friend, because it said it could be a worst enemy as well. But what is the best friend? We all have best friends in our life, I'm sure. The friends or our best friends, usually, who do we call? Before we bring the mind, I just want us to reflect that what is the quality that we look for when we think or see someone as our friend or a best friend, a good friend. Is the person who makes us happy or the person who makes us comfortable, makes us relax, feel natural. We don't have to put on some other cover on top of ourselves, like hide or anything in that context. Or the most important thing I find is the best friend could be those who give us that empowering company when we need at the time. And I'm sure all of us are experiencing from day in and out. There are moments where we look and tend towards these particular type of people, sets of people or group of people we do have cherished since our childhood. So those are another individual that we seek those company at some times to make us feel happy. Sometimes we are down, sometimes we are sad. We feel that elevation in their company. We feel who we are. These companies reminds us or makes us look at our positive side, because we all do have. And that is what Raj Yoga also teaches. And I'm sure there is no stranger first timer here. I assume some of you or all of you have heard the teachings of Brahma Kumaris and familiar with what is the basic teachings are, that who I am and how do we work with amongst ourselves. I'm not going into detail, but I just assume that we in Brahma Kumaris have first and foremost, we believe and see and practice is we are that beautiful being of love, as we heard that nice commentary in the meditation. And we are the creation of Supreme Being, powerful, pure, source of all the goodness, positivity. So the friend, now this is the topic where we have to develop that same friendship with our own mind. That I am happy, like Michelle says, we are with our mind 24/7. Those people, individuals can be there for a certain amount of time, certain days, not sometimes available. But here, if I have developed that friendship with my own mind, then I know how to, like they say, there was a individual who I have met quite a while ago, many years ago in India. His background is in engineering, I believe, if I remember. Said he has heard only in his engineering studies, or he was a professor, I believe, also teaching the engineering students, that to manage in life money, material things, machinery, all these M's, he was told, we have to manage everything, manage life, manage money, manage material things, manage machine, everything. But there was never a tool that was given. When he first came in connection with Raj Yoga meditation, he learned one word. That was the key word. That was the eye-opening for him. And to manage all of these things, only thing to understand and to manage, to learn, which was very most important, is the mind. And once I am able to learn, understand, manage our mind, then I am able to manage everything else. And it's like, since young age, we have programmed ourselves in certain kinds. And of course, I am not talking anything strange or different here. As a little kid growing up, when I probably would have run, hit the wall, or maybe I hit some table and I fall down and I started to cry. And here my mom comes and says, no, it's not your fault. It's the table, the fault of the table or the fault of the wall. And it's like that subtle program have been started to happening, that anything happens in my life, it is not me. It is something else is the problem. It is the wall in that case, or the table, because I hit the table or a wall and I fall down. But the table or a wall is there. It is me who did not see it. So this is like subtle way of programming ourselves in that sense that we grew up. And then we go to school, university. And here I'm just sharing something that at one point I have gone through. Sometimes I'm sure now, probably more than when I used to be, but there were some days were very, very full. As a student, go to university, college, very full days from morning till evening, and so many subjects, so many information, so much information you can barely process. By the time evening, it's like you just can't take it anymore. Then there are extra tuitions as well. Before school, after schooling, there are tuition classes. And then you go home and you are so tired. It's like you can't take one step further. But then when I go home, what do? I will probably turn on the television. Why did I turn on television if I was so exhausted? Then we say, that's something that makes me relax. And then I will get late in sleeping again, even though I am tired. And then next day, I will be late. So I am setting up that trend as late to go to college or a school or a university because I am going to bed late. That is the programming I'm doing. But one day, suddenly there is an announcement in the school that tomorrow is a picnic or tomorrow is a day of going out and enjoying. And such a time we have to be there. What would I do? Even though I am tired, that's the programming. But then I would be so ready and enthusiasm is there for me to get ready, even reach before time to school. So there is something, it's not that I am tired, we are keep on telling. And that energy goes towards that side of the spectrum. But definitely there is that strength is there, but it's just how I program myself, how I talk to myself inside. Like when I used to study as a student, I'm sure everyone would agree to some point that sometimes we find ourselves weak in certain subjects, maybe one or two little chapter or some areas which is a little difficult. Rest all is fine. So we always feel when I used to study, I used to say, God, please don't have anything from this particular chapter. Otherwise, I'm not too sure how will I do in the exam. And how every time I'm going through that particular subject, although I'm studying honestly, every time I'm going through thinking about that same thought is going on. I hope nothing comes from this particular chapter, because if something comes, I am not too sure. I think I will fail. So it's a subtle way I'm programming. And then when I go appear for my exam for the particular subject, I would not look at anything in that question paper, but trying to find anything that was being asked from that particular chapter. My attention will not be anywhere else. There could be so many things that I am so prepared. Everything else I know is just one little thing that I was a little weak in. But the mind that I have programmed in such a way that I am looking, and the moment, of course, I will notice one question was asked, and I know I'm not prepared for it. I don't have that confidence. And because I have always thought, I am going to be failed. So it is like suddenly, even though I was so prepared, nothing is in front of me. It is like total blackout. And I start to lose all that I had, I was prepared for. That fear, that insecurity, or that doubt that I have programmed, I will fail. Anything come from this chapter, I am done. I can't pass that exam. So that will be the actual day that I will just, because the program is done that way. But it's okay, it's just one question. But what about the rest? I prepared so well. I am well prepared in everything else. But it's just how I have prepared and this is how I have seen many times in my personal journey. whether it was a study or education, university, but even in life. Many times we feel that, oh, I can't manage this. Oh, this is going to be always like this. I don't think I. But then once we also learn here in Raj Yoga practice, Brahma Kumaris, that is the mind is nothing. It is nothing a big deal, but it's just for the soul's ability to think. And first and foremost thing we learn is I am that pure, that soul, that powerful being of light, not this physical body. This body is mine. So it's my mind, is my body. It's just like my eyes, just like my hand. But it's easy to see eyes, my hands. It's just not so easy to see the mind because we are not able to see through our physical eyes. And this is where we feel that I and my mind is one and the same thing. And we are having that fear within ourselves to understand and act from that difference, that I, the soul, am a master. And my mind, it is like hardware and software, no, in the time age of computer, whatever you put in. But if something, okay, hardware you can repair, software, whatever is there, the program has to be there, right? If you don't put in anything, nothing will product. So whatever I am programming in my mind, that is where that will be the outcome. So somewhere we have to change. And just like, we have been through this past year, and this is with this corona and all of that, where immune system, we say it's weak immune system, you get attacked. Anything changes in weather or anywhere, it will attack and we get sick, physically speaking. Spiritually speaking, when I am able to not have that immunity for that protection spiritually, and that spiritual, the immunity for I, the soul, the spiritually, to develop that, the power in my mind, it is with positive thoughts, good thinking, positive thinking. What is positive thinking? It's something that nourishes the soul. And where do I go for that? Because once I know that my mind, I am the master of how I program it. Just like I shared, that since childhood, we have learned it is not the fault of me as a child, but it's the fault of the table or a wall. So that subtle program is there, which goes on whole life, that anything happens in our lives, first thing, because of that one, because of this one, because of this situation, maybe because of the government doing not something right, because of this, maybe the weather is not so good. Anywhere outside of me is the issue, is the problem. But somewhere we have to start seeing and thinking, and we say, it is like my inner kingdom. Let alone outside world, I cannot control anything outside of me anyhow. But it is something that I need to control, is how I use my mind, in which direction the thoughts goes. And if first thing, as I said, we learn is I, the soul, am pure being, peaceful being, loving being, happy being. And I am a child of God, who is the source of all of this. And that's the meditation we just had. And if I keep that in my awareness, if every time I'm thinking, nothing is a big deal when God is with me, such a powerful, like the best friend, mind is the best friend, like they say, no? If I think I can, I can. If I think I cannot, then 100 people can tell me, they can see that I can do, but if I don't see, I don't believe, I don't think I can, I cannot. So that determination will also be there once I start to see that this is who I am and there is nothing that I cannot do. I have to have that determination. Outside is something we see, but before outside, physical level, it's what I create within. And that's the projection that I bring in. So immunity, to increase our immunity, to make the mind best friend, one of the things I was reflecting that we have to keep checking how I am using my mind, where it is. And that's for that, definitely, I have to keep that track. Where is my mind at any time of the day? And here I like to share a story since Michelle just said it in the beginning. Of course, there was a king who was running his kingdom with very peaceful manner, no stress, no tension. Being a king, obviously, he should have some worries and stress, right? But he was very relaxed and peaceful. And when he was asked by one person, how can you do such a thing? Such a big kingdom, don't you have any worries and concern? How can you do something? So the king asked that individual to come and see him next day. So when that person comes and see the king gives him one, well, here I would use a candle as an example, lit candle. Yeah, I would say diya, if those of you understand. And while giving that candle, lit candle in the hand, king kept one condition. King wanted him to go around every corner of his palace or in kingdom, wherever he wanted to go, this individual, to find out how can king be so peaceful and relaxed running his kingdom. So he can take this lit candle and go around and find if he finds anything. But the condition was the candle shouldn't be extinguished. It should always be lit. Whole day, this individual went around the whole palace, went around the kingdom. By the end of the day, came back tired. And then he was asked by king, how was your day? And what did you see? And of course, the answer was, he did not see anything. And the reason that was asked, why he didn't see anything? Because the condition was there that the candle shouldn't be extinguished. So his attention was always on to that candle. He shouldn't get extinguished. He couldn't see anything else because the candle has to be always lit. So then king answered him that for me to run my kingdom, this is the secret I have. That I always keep that inner flame awakened. I don't get distracted for anything else. I always have that full concentration, focus for what I have to do. What am I thinking? So it's my inner kingdom I take care. And this is where my bigger external, physical, outside, big kingdom, it's not a big deal. So this is where once king takes care of his inner kingdom, his shared secret, he's able to take care of everything and everyone else in his kingdom. So this is where if I spend my energy, positive energy, good energy of thoughts, happy thoughts, peaceful thoughts, loveful thoughts, powerful thoughts, then definitely my inner level of that energy, that kingdom, the mind will get that nourishment and it will have that quality of production. It will have that kind of thinking, that quality of thinking. And definitely, as I shared in the beginning, that who is the best friend that I enjoy company with. And I won't have to any fear, but the company of such a best friend makes me empowered, makes me realize who I am, makes me see what I cannot see about myself, give me that motivation. And power of thoughts has great deal of power. This is where there is a saying, if I always think the way I always say, I will always do, and result will be the same. The change, if I want to bring in my life, first and foremost is the thought, and that is the creation of my mind. Mind is nothing else but it's my ability, the soul's ability to think, produce thoughts. But what kind of thoughts it should produce, obviously, that is where the master, has to take care. And it is more like this meditation, practice of meditation I have learned or understand is giving that time out to my mind. Because, we all know that there are 40,000 thoughts or even more thoughts per day. But when I start to meditate, it usually comes down because it's positive. When I am thinking with peace, thinking with love, thinking with happiness, that speed will come down. At the same time, contradiction. When I'm thinking with fear, when I'm thinking with doubt, when I'm thinking that spectrum, it will have a more faster speed. And the more I am thinking, so it is like, we all have a job. We do 8 hours of work, shift. Some people do have 12 hours of shift. Maybe you have to do overtime, 18 hours. How many days can you go on? If you have to do 18 hours a shift, 12-hour shift, maybe 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Somewhere your body starts to tell you, you cannot go on forever. It needs that physical rest as well. Mind, definitely, but even physically, we wouldn't be able to go on forever. So if mind has been thinking these thousands of thoughts every day, then how long? So then there is no clarity. I don't even know what is right and what is wrong. If I need to even think about these things, sometimes it just goes on out of habit. This is where another area is. But of course, I am not going in any details of these things. But what the story that I just shared about the king and having that flame lit is just to have that awareness, keeping that attention of what my mind is doing at any point in time, what type of thoughts I'm having. And here I'm reminding of one other story, is how the power of mind have ability. We can imagine, we can imagine things. We can go far into the back, in the past, or we can even imagine the future. Thoughts. Mind is a spiritual and faculty, so obviously it doesn't have to be physically. Physically, I can only be one place at one time. But while sitting here, I can think about, being grown up in India, just came to the United States maybe 20 some years ago. I can go back to that same village, same home, same city. I can see myself even today when I was a little girl. So it's something, I'm sure all of you are familiar with these stories, or maybe some of you, that there were 2 men in the hospital in the same room with a serious illness. One of them couldn't sit or didn't have a permission to sit because the body had such a serious illness. And the other one, the second, of course, the one bed was next to the window. Another one was inside the room, so we couldn't see the window. And I'm sure most of you must have heard this story, that how the one who was looking through the window every day, because the one who is lying down cannot see anything. But every day, this person who is looking through the window, you will describe the beautiful world outside. Where there was another person who was there, who was only thinking about how my wife gives you so much trouble, my family is like this, worrying and fear. But another individual is thinking how beautiful this world is, such a nice flower, like Michelle was saying in the beginning, it's a springtime, so colorful. He's not, actually, there was nothing. That is what discovered later, that when this person was dead, because I guess it was a serious illness, so this individual who was not next to that window requested if he can be given that bed so he can see that beautiful scenery through that same window, because his roommate was sharing every day and he was missing that. Because that they became such a good friend by listening to such an elevate, such a positive way of sharing how beautiful, how colorful. And when this person goes and have that bed next to the window, all he sees through the window is the concrete wall. There was nothing. There were no flowers, there is no garden, nothing he could see. But so many years they shared that same room, and this individual would wait until when this person will start sharing. Every day he will come up with such a vision, such a powerful, empowering words, that this person realizes that day that it gave me a life. It empowered me to live through this sickness. It's such a powerful tool that it's not a, how I think, that is how I see. You say, as I hold my awareness, as I create my awareness, I create my thoughts. That's how my vision is. And the way I see, I find the world. And this is where it's our power of thoughts, that whether I think of love, I think I have thoughts of peace, I have thoughts of happiness. Usually they say we create that aura around. So it's not only me, but it has a deep effect, deep impact on many others who are around us. Sometimes, for whatever reason, we all feel that we go through that little down, or I feel little low energy, maybe a little sad. And it has nothing to do with the person around us. But they start to notice, and somewhere, even if they say something, may not be directly to me, but because I am at that lower frequency already, I am feeling low, I am feeling a little sad, that would really hit us. And I would just say something which is probably not appropriate, or I might just do something. But at the same time, when I am able to keep my awareness, keep my inner world, that especially the thought, the state of mind, such a powerful, positive, and that place, that is who really I am, with that awareness. Any big thing someone will say, it will just really doesn't matter to me. I could just laugh at it, or I would just not, at least it doesn't have that impact on me, because I know who I am. But this is where it is like, it has nothing to do with other person, but it is always how we have somewhere along the journey of life, we have forgotten who we are. And that is one of the discovery in Raj Yoga, and that we all are that beautiful, pure, peaceful being of light, creation of God, child of God, the supreme being, source of all goodness. But going through the life experiences, journey of life, somewhere we have collected, we have programmed ourselves, we have collected things from others, and we have also shared something from ours. So this is where that layer upon layer has been built. And by the time I realized, I just couldn't see myself in the same vision that who really I am. And this is where the knowledge of Raj Yoga meditation really teaches us, reminds us to see ourselves with that vision of who I am, and also keep that same vision towards everyone. And that is where, if I keep that vision, if I keep that awareness, then the thoughts that arises from that awareness will be of goodness, of bringing benefits, of being happy, of being loving, because that is who I am as a spiritual being. And here, before I pause for a question, I just wanted to share one small story, and then I will pause for a question. This is a story of a dewdrops. Dewdrops, it's look like crystal clear, pure diamond. If you see it, very fresh, very clean to begin with, like a diamond. It sparkles when the sunlight falls on it. So it's a story of a dewdrops. And because it is a story, obviously it's a fairy tale, the dewdrops can talk. And these dewdrops, to begin with, is clean, pure, sparkling like diamond in the sunlight. Suddenly, it gets attracted to the flowers. Now it's a spring season coming. The flowers around, pink, lavender, all the beautiful colors around, gets attracted to the flowers. And the dewdrops goes to the flowers and says, can you give me some color from yours? So the flower says, sure, I can share some colors, but would you give some freshness, right? So they did the exchange. Dewdrops gave some freshness to the flowers, and flowers gave some color to the dewdrops, whether it was a pink, lavender, green, yellow, red, whatever. Then, little while later, this dewdrops sees and he feels the fragrance, beautiful fragrance of a sandalwood tree. Sandalwood tree was right nearby. It gets attracted to this fragrance. And obviously, he does the same thing. He goes to this tree and asks, may I have some fragrance? So the same exchange takes place there. Take some fragrance, leave some freshness there. So like that, on his journey, these dewdrops gets attracted to many different things on his journey and collect few things in exchange with losing its freshness. Ended up, started as fresh and clean, end up becoming a little dirty, little bit mud, lose its sparkle, and falls on the ground. Very sad, unhappy. No energy, no excitement, no enthusiasm left. Suddenly, because it always was attracted to something or the other, right? All throughout. Suddenly, this dewdrop, which is fall on the ground, which is sad and unhappy, sees something very much diamond-like sparkling on the branches of a tree. And this dewdrop gets attracted to that. And he starts to praise this drop, which is on the branch, which is sparkling, fresh, clean, pure. Praising, wow, you're so clean, you're so pure, you look so beautiful, so fresh. Look at me, I'm so dirty, I'm so sad, I'm happy, I'm unhappy. All of that. Contradict. That is nothing else but it is another dewdrops on the branch. That dewdrops, of course, replies to this dewdrop, which is dirty. No, you are same as like me. You are also sparkling like that. You are fresh, clean. That is who originally you are. Only thing is because you have collected a lot of things in your journey. And it's time for you to drop them off or return them. Of course, this is a story. So they show this dewdrops goes backwards onto the journey and returned the fragrance, returned the dirt, the fragrance to the tree, and the colors to the flowers. And finally, it becomes that original, sparkling, pure, clean dewdrops again. The story reminds us as we come to this realization as who I am that pure being, peaceful being, beautiful being, powerful being, happy being, child of God, who is source of all goodness. Everything is that instilled in me. It's what is Supreme Soul is for. I am child of His. So it's like all that, what is in my spiritual parents, the Creator, I have it. And I just have to, it's just the point of reminding myself who I am and starting to think from that place of being, from that awareness, and seeing everyone else as well. That is second step. What I just like to suggest, I'm sure all of you are aware of it, but it's just that every day how I use my morning. First of all, when I begin my day, not to see my WhatsApp or cell phone, let's say, but first and foremost thing, how I engage myself before I engage myself with the world or with the life. It is like that, giving myself that charge, giving myself that awareness, reminding myself who really I am. So I would suggest we start with our day with something spiritual, which nourishes, which gives that nourishment to my mind, gives me that strength where I am able to think with my mind positive, pure, powerful thoughts. And even during the day, at all centers or students of Brahma Kumaris, as we practice, few times we take that small pauses, a minute or two in between, whenever you find. You say it's every hour, but may not be suitable at your workplace or however it is. But maybe when you're drinking a water or when you have your coffee or tea or something, just to have that awareness, subtly, who am I? Disengaging physically, but also mentally, just for a moment or two. And creating this awareness will help us. And the third thing is how I do that closing. No, closing of the day is like not how we shut the computer down. We don't pull the plug. There is a system, we press button, no? We choose that it takes a few seconds before it really goes into that shutdown mode. So this is where whatever happened during the day, curtain is closed. Empty my mind. Allow my mind to be light. Not with everything that is unfinished business of today or something that upset me, something that made me feel sorrow and angry and all of, or maybe someone else because of that. Whatever it is, I need to just, if I can't, is always one thing I personally do many times, most of the time, is writing it down in the notebook. And it does help a great deal. It's like taking out from here. The day is finished, day is done. Whatever will be tomorrow is another day. Because even if I keep on thinking about it, I know there is nothing I could do. At 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock, I can't do anything. So like a parent, they read a nice bedtime story to the children, right? So what's the point of reading those bedtime stories? I'm sure the parents hope that children will have such a nice, beautiful dreams. So this is like reading, going through that myself. Not that I am asking all of you to read the bedtime stories, but to create the good thoughts, create that good energy within, so it will help us to have a good sleep, restful sleep. And that is how I will start my next morning, next day. And I think I come to my time limit. For any questions or anything else anyone has, Michelle?
Yes, no, if anyone has any questions, I don't see any yet, but I have some questions. So
Oh,
please
you
put
do
your
have it. Okay,
questions in. I always have questions, you know that.
that's right.
So I'd like everyone to put it in the chat room.
It
Well,
was very simple, so I don't think anyone has any question. I
Yeah,
did
it
not talk
was.
anything new.
Well, I always say whatever is simple, when it's simple, it's not so simple. I always say it's always so simple. It's like not, but it's not going to your auntie's house. It is more difficult because, as I said before, we have our mind with us 24/7, but what else is with us? The outside world is with us also. And I find now we have even more distractions. We have, as you said, your cell phone, we
Right.
have the television, we have social media. We're pulled in so many different directions. It's very hard. And I know what you said was so important. The first thing most people do, I mean, I would imagine, is what do you do when you wake up? You want to go to your cell phone and see who contacted me at 3 a.m. Who had how many texts did I get in the middle of the night while I was sleeping? What did I miss? Whereas there's so many more important things that you can do. And I want to stress that again, in my opinion, what you said is so important, that before you even begin your day, oftentimes the doctor says, have a drink of water, just hydrate yourself and sit down and just start your day right. And that is to center yourself. And I find what you said, when I meditate, when I focus on who I am, quiet down, even after a night's sleep, especially after a night's sleep, you're getting ready for the day ahead. And I have found I do it as an experiment. And it works. Sometimes if I do that and I wake up and I sit and I quietly meditate, and as you know, in the Brahma Kumar, we go to the Murali and we churn that. And other days, as an experiment, I don't do it anymore because it didn't always come out well. I'd go right into my day. I said, let me see. This was when I was an early Brahma Kumari. I said, okay, let me see if this really works. And I would start my day. I would have breakfast and I would meditate. I would test. And inevitably, the day did not go the same. It was much less in my control. I felt like I was flying into the sun. So now I find I want to center myself every morning, and as you say, as night, because when I don't, my day is different. And I use that term, a natural law. If I don't focus my day at the beginning, my day is different, and not in a good, necessarily a better way. I don't want to say it's a bad way, but it's better when I do focus, because there's so many stimuli coming at me in so many ways unless I'm centered. And that was just a comment I wanted to make. It was so strong when you say it. Before you pick up your cell phone, why don't you sit down and center yourself and give thanks? I wake up now and I thank the spirit for a wonderful night's sleep, for beginning my day. I open my eyes and I
Right.
now make the choice. When I wake up, I say, thank you,
Mhm.
thank you. And it makes me feel so good.
Mhm.
So I am habituating that. And that's something. One thing I did want to ask you, and this is a question about the past. I notice a lot of people, I think a lot of times sadness comes from regret, and regret is generally what you've done in the past, and how we can we habituate not to think about the past. What was done is done, and to focus on the only thing that, and you mentioned this, the only thing that you can control is this moment. You can't control the past. You certainly can't do the future. This moment, how do we get from, and I'm sure people think that, how do you, I don't want to say forget the past, but how do you move beyond the past for the day? So you don't think about, oh, this person did this to me yesterday, or I didn't have a good day yesterday. What help is that to think about what yesterday was? So, because I know so many people come to me and they said, oh, I had a terrible day yesterday. They're still talking about yesterday. It's today, but they're still thinking about yesterday. So how do we move beyond yesterday?
Well, I think all of us do have those moments where we get stuck with something or the other from the past. And it does take forever, I would say forever, to make myself free from those things. Or rather, we use another word is letting go. It's like understanding of knowledge, this spiritual understanding gives us that real clarity where no point of me holding and living into yesterday, because then I'm not moving. It's like when I am walking, we lift one leg after the next. If I don't lift the second one, then I won't be able to move forward. So unless I let go something, I'm able to move forward. And most of the time, I would not say even many times, it seems not so easy. And it is also not very easy experience either. There is a lot of learning involved, but at the same time, like I remember that one of the sculpture had mentioned once that the one who makes the statue right out of the stone by hitting it, it is already inside. All he's doing is just taking away the extra pieces around it, and he is able to find that particular statue from within that stone. And when the hammer is being hit, definitely that is a painful experience, as we are the living beings going through that. And when I start to see that there was something that I learned, what is that? Somewhere any situation comes in our life, it had taught me something. And if I take that as my learning lesson, and might be that is the point where I needed to take a stand and take that situation as a stepping stone and just create my future. Sometimes it does helps us. And it, as I said, it's not that I can do on my own. And this is where I brought a few times that the energy and the companionship of the Supreme must be needed. That's at least that is my experience in life, that without that companionship, without that strength that I receive, that faith, first of all, and that connection, that relationship, that he is also there. He's going to give me that. And there is a say, if God has brought you to this, he's only going to give you that strength to go across people are there temporarily. They might say a few good things, nice things, inspiring things, but it is finally, I am the one who has to do it. And if I don't stand up and take that, my life definitely, many times, personally, I share my own, there was a time when I wanted to do something, the thought comes and it's like, I really want to do this. And then I step something or the other thoughts comes in. No, I think it's fine. I don't want to do it. I don't think I can manage. And I start to see everything that I can't. There is a big list where I can't do this because of this. I can't do this because of this. I don't have this expertise. I'm not good at it. Everything. So few times it happened. Thought comes up. I want to do this. The other side, the mind. And then it just subsided, just gone. Once I just, you have to just do it. But I feel it wasn't only me. It was somewhere that conviction, that determination, doesn't matter. I have to probably let go of a lot of physical things. A lot of adjustment is needed. Maybe, I have a lot of people around me who loves me more, then maybe I might have to move somewhere else where I don't have, maybe I have to learn to make new friends. Maybe I have to learn to know other community. Maybe I have to learn to know other language or a culture, whatever it is. These are just physical adjustment. But sometimes this is where we have created such a dependency that and also we made those things part of our life so much that we feel without this, I am nothing. If I don't do this, I am nothing. And here I know you will agree that we know that whether I am an engineer, whether I am a doctor, whether I have this big house or a palace, or whether I have a little apartment, it doesn't really matter. I am that being who can be happy in the mansion or who can be happy in one bedroom apartment. It doesn't really matter. It is the state of being that I keep. And once I have learned to see things from that point of view, then I don't think it's a big deal. But that is where I need that real strength. And we do all have that. None of us who doesn't have it. We all are born with it. It is like when I remember coming again from school or college, I don't remember, so tired and you can barely see your home, few more steps to go, you just barely reach home and drop your bags or just drop yourself on the couch. But from the bus stop or a railway station, go to home is not too far, but you feel very exhausted and you can barely walk. Many times, I'm sure you have experienced this. Suddenly, you see some scary scene, something that is not very safe to be in that moment, to walk that leisurely or a little tireless. Suddenly, I would take that speed and run, because something is dangerous there. Where did I get that energy? I was so exhausted, out of energy. But that energy definitely was there. The moment I see there is some danger, I pick up that speed. From where? So this is where there is always that we are all born with it. It's just the question of recognition. And when these moments come, somewhere that it just comes out. But I guess here we are learning not to wait for those moments to come, but rather we are prepared and walking ahead of those situations. I'm not sure if I answered that question, but I did something.
I have two, there are two things that came in. One is a comment, which kind of validates what I said, to start your day with gratitude. I do think that is a very, very healthful way of looking at the day. It certainly, as you had mentioned, if you have a positive attitude, it lends itself the higher energy. And you'll find when you're in a good mood, others gravitate towards you too, and you attract others with positive energy. So I wholeheartedly agree. But we have a question here. And I'd even take a stab at that. Do we really have control of our day? I don't think so. I don't think we do, but we have control of ourselves. But because we don't know what's going to happen, please comment. And that she thanked you for a valuable presentation. Thank you so much. But it's an illusion that we have control of the day, right? I mean, I always think that, there are little gremlins that want us to think we do, but we don't. But what do we have control of?
Yeah,
Parole. We do have control of something.
I do have a control of my own inner world, definitely. I cannot put blame onto someone. The interesting thing, not too little, maybe a little while ago, something happened. It wasn't a big deal, and I missed in doing something accurately, or it wasn't a big deal, but it wasn't the way it's supposed to be done. And I knew in that moment that this individual will come to me and will say, well, this is not how it's supposed to be. And I knew that. I was all prepared. I had that commentary in my mind. I'm telling myself, Parul, this is the comment is going to come, but you are not going to let that comment make you feel like, God, again, here I go. I did the same silly things. And, sometimes we're just trying to prove ourselves, like, it's not a big deal. It's okay. Everybody does it and whatnot. But I wasn't going to give in that day and getting upset over that. Sometimes it goes little, out of hand if you start saying something out of reaction. And so I was all prepared. Okay, fine. This person he feels he has to say something. Okay, fine. I will welcome that. Correct. Okay, I agree. I did not do something right. Should have been right next time. And it was end of the story. I was all prepared. In 2 minutes' time, the individual walks towards me and said exactly the same thing which I already told myself. This was not the way. What were you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And here I go. I did not do anything the way I prepared. He said, well, what was so big deal? This is my old recording. It wasn't a big deal. Only you have a problem. This is what and I know it didn't come from that place of peace, definitely. It was the moment where I tried to defend. And it wasn't needed. And actually, it's not even a big deal. But somewhere we are habituated. And we have this resistance. And the things just went a little out of hand with that one little gesture, the way I said it. It wasn't positive, one thing, and it was from that place of reaction. So definitely the other individual take both of that, and there was give and take. But then I realized since that, and many times it's not like I am perfect. It's, it's just every day something or the other. The scenes comes up and it's not in my control. Nothing is in my control when it comes outside of me. People, situation, weather, anything. But it's how I manage in here. That's the best control I have. And that is the way I will be able to respond. And that particular day, I learned that even though I prepared myself, and still it's such a second, I just slipped, went back into so this is where we have to be so sharp with our own way of being. If I want to bring that change, then I need to be aware of who I am and not get carried away with what's coming. Okay, criticism is coming, comment is coming. Sure, people are there. They are going to say something. They are the same people who praise me, right? Next moment, they will the one who will defame me. But I can't keep that as my dependency. And if that is what it is, then it's my whole life I will be going up and down, and which we all are experienced, I'm sure, through these things. And that's what we learned here anyhow.
Beautiful. Oh, we're getting comments. Very helpful to remember we have the ability to hit pause when the tape in our head is spinning out of control. We don't have to listen to it. It's true. It's true. Well, we're going to have to stop spinning now because it's
Right,
coming to the end.
It's 8 o'clock.
And we have to do our quiet meditation because you have to calm. We have to maintain this so we can have a lovely evening of sleep.
Sure.
Wanted to thank you so much, and we want to thank Sister Prule. Would you mind doing a short commentary, meditation commentary for us as we wind
Sure.
down? And thank you all for coming tonight and sharing your wonderful comments and questions. I'm grateful to all of you, if I may say. So
Thank
made
you.
my evening beautiful. And thank you, Sister Prule. Always a delight to be with you.
Thank you. Collect the words you just heard. Now it's time to practice running of our own inner kingdom. As I, the soul, am a king. And my mind is the best helper, the best ability to run my kingdom. One of the best helper. I create the awareness of who I am. And I see myself in the center of the forehead, the sparkling being, a being of love, being of happiness. I am the light. I am the powerful being. My mind is my best friend. Able to create good thoughts, positive thoughts, empowering thoughts. When I stay in the awareness that I am a powerful being, I let go of all the pain, all the discomfort, all the past things. I let go of all my dependency. That I am the master of my mind. I choose what stays in my mind. I am the creator of my every thought, every feeling. I create thought of love and peace. I create thought of happiness. These thoughts gives me that strength, empowers, nourishes the soul. with this nourishment, I am able to continue to keep this thought of love and happiness. As I continue to spend energy of thoughts, create aura of that positive energy around me. Create these vibrations, which not only helps me, but helps many others. And I radiate this positivity. Wherever I go. I radiate only love and peace, happiness. That is the world I create. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Shanti, Sister Paul. Thank you for your insightful conversation tonight. And thank you, Brother Eric, always for your technical assistance, and Sister Inez for pulling this all together all the time, and my co-MC Louise who's here tonight, and all of you, our wonderful guests and attendees, and of course, the Supreme Soul who makes it all possible for us to be together. Let's not forget him. And so next week, we hope you will join us again. You can wave. Free yourself from thinking of and looking at others. So I'm not going to look at you anymore. So we're going to free ourselves from thinking and looking at others. We're all going to go inside. And again, I encourage everyone to attend the meditation before the session. We're going to be doing some new pilot programs. It's going to be very interesting. So try and join us earlier before we start at 7 we start at 6:30. And good night, everyone, and have a wonderful spring week. It's going to be lovely. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you. Om Shanti. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Louise.
Bye-bye.